If you book a tour to Laguna or Batangas, chances are Mount Makiling is already on your itinerary. It is a stunning mountain famously shaped like a woman lying down on her back. Most travelers know the wholesome, heartwarming folklore taught in schools about the tale of a kind, virtuous mountain goddess. But there is an alternate version, a darker legend that still haunts the mountain today and keeps cautious traveler off the commercial paths. This is not a story of gentle grace. This is a tragic descent into vengeance. This is the story of the Wraith of Mount Makiling. Hello everyone, this is Repolio, the self-proclaimed paranormal investigator VTuber, and welcome to another case of Cabbage Juice. This case is going to be relatively short since, spoiler alert, it does not have different elements like the Aswang case. It is a story that is going to be gritty, tragic, and downright horrifying. And to be honest, there's not much sources about the legend. I actually personally heard this legend from my brother, which I will tackle later on. Are you ready for the deep dive? Let's get to it. There are different versions of the myth of Maria Makiling, ranging from the virtuous mountain goddess who blessed the mortals with crops and golden fruits, to a goddess who fell in love. Let us tackle the two versions. In Filipino, Maria Makiling is described as a diwata, which is an elf, a fairy, or a goddess in English, depending on the context. She is the divine daughter of the ancient gods Dayang Makiling and Gat Panahon. Unlike other deities who kept their distance, Maria loved descending from the mountain to bless mortals unconditionally. She showered villagers with fresh mountain fruits and vegetables. To the poorest family, she even gifted golden fruits so they could sell them and lift themselves out of poverty. For generations, everyone revered her, living in perfect harmony with the mountain. But as time passed, human memory faded and greed took over. Mortals began invading her sacred mountain to pillage its riches. They slaughtered every animal in sight, stripped the crops bare, and hacked down trees for their own profit. Maria Makiling, once the epitome of virtue and generosity, watched in horror. Driven to her limit, she began summoning violent natural disasters to strike down anyone who tried to exploit her domain. Infuriated by humanity's bottomless greed, she turned her back on the mortal world, secluding herself deep within the mountain, never to set foot in the villages again. This is the classic, wholesome version widely told to children and taught in elementary school. It's the exact lesson my own Filipino teacher taught me, and a gentle reminder to respect and protect Mother Nature. This version of the tale was written by our national hero, Dr. Jose P. Rizal. His retelling puts a unique twist on the story to convey a lesson different from the original. It goes as follows. The origins of Maria Makiling remains the same. She is a diwata, daughter of the gods Dayang Makiling and Gat Panahon. She descends to the mortal village to mingle with the people, showering them with gifts, vegetables, and fruits from the mountains. Things she crafted with her own hands, and even golden fruits to the poor. Only in this version, she has 3 suitors. First is Captain Lara, a decorated officer who gave Maria an expensive music box he had brought from Europe. Second is Joselito, a mestizo half Filipino, half Spanish and English, who dressed as a noble and entertained Maria with stories of his time in Spain. Third is Juan, a humble farmer who brought Maria simple gifts, crops he had tended and harvested with his own hands. The 3 suitors pressed Maria to choose among them. She already knew her heart and told them all to come up the mountain at night to hear her answer. And so, they did. Upon the mountain, Maria spoke politely and gave her choice. She had chosen Juan, the humble farmer, because of his deep love for the land and for nature. Juan leapt for joy, but the other 2, sitting with anger, jealousy, and humiliation, conspired to destroy Juan, hoping to take Maria for themselves. Maria and Juan's happiness was cut short when an unknown arsonist set fire to a Spanish military barracks. All the able-bodied men of the village were taken by Spanish soldiers for questioning, including Juan. Hearing that Juan had been captured, the two rejected suitors, Captain Lara and Joselito, struck a deal with the other prisoners. They would tell the Spanish soldiers that Juan was the arsonist in exchange for their own freedom. It is worth remembering that, under the Spanish rule, the colonizers were far from just. Our national hero, Dr. Rizal, knew this tyranny firsthand. Fearing the wrath of the Spanish regime, the villagers agreed to the plot and falsely blamed Juan. Unlike today, when they have security cameras, fingerprints, purchase records, and forensic evidence, justice back then rested entirely on testimony. With nearly everyone testifying against him, the Spanish believed the lies and sentenced Juan to death. A few days later, Juan was dragged to the town square, blindfolded, hands bound behind his back, soldiers marching behind him with rifles aimed. It was to be a public execution, a grim warning to any Filipino who dared to resist Spanish authority. The commanding officer gave the order to fire. A hail of bullets struck Juan's back. He fell to the ground, bloodied and still. Maria rushed down from the mountains to save him, but she arrived too late. She watched helplessly as Juan was shot dead before her eyes. She ran to his body, held him in her arms, and wept. The unjust murder of the man she loved unleashed her divine wrath. Calamity descended upon the mountain. Nature itself seemed to tremble with her grief and rage. And so, the story ends. What became of the two scheming suitors? Joselito soon died from a mysterious illness, apparently struck down by the curse of Maria's wrath. As for Captain Lara, he was later killed by Filipino revolutionaries fighting for independence. This version is far more tragic and deeply moving. It is a story of jealousy, betrayal, and the cruelty of the Spanish colonial era. There's a haunting irony. Jose Rizal himself would die in the same way, hands tied behind his back, publicly executed by the firing squad in the town square. Did Rizal somehow foresee his own fate when he wrote this? Or did he simply draw from what he had already known, public executions of the patriots being tragically common in those days? We may never know. But one thing is certain, this retelling carries far greater emotional weight than the original legend. All praise to our national hero, Dr. Jose P. Rizal, a brilliant writer and a fearless revolutionary. Now that we've covered the two most famous tales of Maria Makiling, let's turn to the urban legend version. The chilling, less known story that only locals of the region know, and that tour guides whisper to students who are all too eager to wander off the trail and get lost in the mountains. This version does not portray her as a benevolent diwata. Instead, tales of a beautiful, mortal woman named Maria Makiling, a humble village girl so stunningly lovely that every man fell for her, and every woman burned with envy. Just as in Dr. Jose P. Rizal's retelling, Maria had countless suitors, ranging from wealthy nobles to ordinary commoners. Her fame spread far and wide, reaching even distant towns. Day after day, men flocked to her home to court her. Maria, who had no wish to marry, rejected each one politely, but her kindness never stopped them from crowding her doorsteps to pour out their feelings. Honestly, if Maria lived today, she'd probably be a reluctant social media sensation, thrust into the spotlight because of her beauty, constantly receiving weird, inappropriate messages from men with one thing on their minds. You know, the type that will DM beautiful girls with a message saying, please send
nudes. Definitely send nudes. Send nudes early and often to everyone. Send nudes, maybe to yourself, but even then, send away.
But since she lived long ago, she had to deal with the persistent suitors invading her peace in person, which, as an introvert, sounds far worse to me. But anyway, back to the story. Among the endless stream of men who came to her door, there was one disturbed suitor who simply could not take no for an answer. Like all the rest, he confessed his love and was politely turned away, but this man took the rejection badly. Dark thoughts began to consume his mind. If I cannot have her, no one can. Driven by obsession and madness, he devised a terrible plan to harm her. Once he had made up his mind, he acted on it. He watched Maria closely from the shadows, waiting for her to be alone. His chance came one evening. Maria stepped outside at dusk to gather her laundry, now dry from the sun. While she was busy at the clothesline, the man seized her, dragged her deep into the mountain forest, and there he assaulted her cruelly, and then killed her. He left her broken, lifeless body abandoned in the wild, expecting it to rot and be swallowed by nature. But that was not to be. Maria rose again, not as a mortal, but as a vengeful spirit. She swore to punish any man who wandered lost into those mountains. She would tear out their livers and leave their bodies to rot, just as he had left hers. From that day on, men who strayed from the safe paths will encounter her, a beautiful, lonely woman standing in the forest. If they gave in to lust or temptation, she would strike, kill them, take their livers, and leave their remains to decay in the forest. This is a dark, horrifying version of the legend, one you will not find in textbooks. It survives only in oral tradition, passed quietly from local to local. I first heard it from my older brother, who told me the story after returning from a field trip to Mount Makiling. Hearing it for the first time as a young student gave me chills that I still remember to this day. You know what time it is? It's story time with Repolio. I have two tales to share. One I heard from my brother, and one I experienced myself. Stories about encounters with the Wraith of Makiling may be few, but I'll do my best to tell them vividly. I hope they spark your interest in the urban legend, and inspire others to share their own experiences too. With that said, let's dive right in. Mount Makiling is a must-visit destination. If you're traveling to Laguna or Batangas, you really should book a tour of this famous mountain. A young man, let's call him John, and his friends traveled there from Metro Manila and decided to book a guided tour. Naturally, they're excited for the adventure ahead. Hiking is one of the most popular pastimes among Filipinos, whether office workers or college students. Once they had booked their tour and secured a guide, John and his friends headed to the mountains. At the trailhead, the tour guide gave them a clear warning. Stay close to him and never wander off the marked path. One of the group asked out of curiosity, "What will happen if we do?" The guide replied in a firm, serious tone, "If you stray off the trail, you'll wake up alone in the forest with a hole in your side and your liver gone." "Who would do such a thing?" one of the friends asked. The guide answered gravely, "Maria Makiling." "Maria Makiling? The Diwata from the legends?" someone asked, shocked. "You may know her as the kind, gentle spirit betrayed by humanity," the guide said. "But we locals know her differently. She was once an innocent girl, ruined by lust and greed. Now she is a vengeful wraith." A chill ran through the whole group. "Can you tell us the version of her story?" one asked. "I can," the guide replied. "But first, we must start hiking. It won't be safe coming down once dusk falls." And so, the group began their climb, staying together on the trail. As they hiked, the guide told them the chilling local tale. How Maria Makiling was once a beautiful village girl with many suitors. How one man, unable to accept rejection, dragged her deep into the forest, harmed her, murdered her, and left her body to rot. And how she rose again as a spirit, one who appears to lost men, lures them in, and then strikes, tearing out their livers to feed upon. The group listened in silence, goosebumps rising on their skin. Some believed the story, others told themselves it was just a ghost tale to keep their fear at bay. But John, arrogant and something of a jokester, spoke up with a smirk. "So you're saying Maria Makiling is gorgeous? That makes me want to meet her even more." Some laughed, others gave him a look of disapproval. The tour guide stopped, looked John straight in the eye, and said quietly, "Be careful what you wish for." John just brushed it off and laughed. After that, The guide spoke of other things, the mountain's history, its plants and wildlife, as they made their way upward. Eventually, they reached a clearing where they stopped for lunch. Resting and enjoying the breathtaking view, while the others were busy eating and talking, John got an idea. He would wander off alone, just a little way, hoping to catch a glimpse of the legendary beauty. He didn't truly believe the tale. His pride simply wanted to prove he wasn't afraid. He wanted to say he dared to go where others feared and brag about it later. So while everyone else was distracted, John slipped away from the rest stop and walked off the trail into the trees. After a short while, he began to think it was foolish and decided to turn back. But as he retracted his steps, something felt wrong. He walked for an hour, yet the clearing never appeared. Every path looks the same. He was going in circles. Frustrated, he pulled out his phone. No signal. That struck him as strange. He'd hiked many mountains before, and there had always been reception. He pushed on, hoping to find his way back. Then through the trees in the distance, he saw her. A woman in a white dress, with a long dark hair and fair skin, standing alone among the trees. John's heart lifted. A local, he thought. Surely she can guide me back. He hurried towards her. As he drew closer, he was stunned by her beauty. More beautiful than any woman he had ever seen. More beautiful than any celebrity. His thought turned foolish and dark. Instead of simply asking for direction, his mind filled with desire. He walked right up to her, reached out, and placed his hands upon her bare shoulder. She turned to look at him. And then, everything went black. When John awoke, he was lying on his back on the forest floor. Dazed and confused, tried to stand. A sudden searing pain shot through his right side. He looked down and saw a gaping wound. Something that should have been there was gone. He screamed in agony, but no one came. There was no one to save him, and there, alone in the forest, he died screaming. Days later, trekkers searching the mountain for the missing John found a man's body lying beside the trail, a terrible wound in his side. They radioed their team. When they gathered around and checked his face, they confirmed it was him. This last story is one I experienced myself. It is etched so deeply into my memory that I can recall every detail vividly. It goes back to my first year of middle school. I was already an avid fan of JRPGs and anime, and honestly, I still am today. My brother has just returned from a field trip and told my mother and me the lesser-known legend of Maria Makiling, the vengeful Wraith. He said their tour guide had told them the story. Wanting a keepsake, my brother picked up a smooth stone near the waterfall and placed it in his bag. When he got home, he showed it to us proudly. Look, this is my souvenir. At first, we thought nothing of it. It was just a stone. But soon, strange things began happening around the house. At night, we would hear footsteps walking through the rooms, and faint laughter echoing in the halls. Even back then, I knew it was something supernatural. But I felt no fear. I was far too tired to care, so I simply ignored it and went back to sleep. The next day, I came home from school and went upstairs to play Tales of Pirates, an old MMO I was obsessed with at that time. While I was playing, I heard a loud crash, as if something heavy had fallen to the floor. I ran downstairs to check. The large water container that had been sitting safely on the kitchen counter was now shattered on the floor, water spilling everywhere. I called for my mother, who was upstairs browsing the internet. She came down and saw the mess. Being a mother, her first instinct was to question me, the youngest and most mischievous one in the house. What did you do? I didn't touch it, I told her. I just heard a loud noise, came down, and found it like this. My mother replied that the container had been placed well back on the counter, too far for it to fall on its own. Someone would have had to lift it up and drop it. I swear I didn't do it, I insisted. I am just as confused as you are. It wasn't me. We both fell silent, staring at the mess, wondering what we could possibly have caused it. Then it hit me. I remembered the sounds I heard the night before. Footsteps and laughter circling the house, as if trying to keep me awake. Do you think a ghost did this? I asked. My mother thought for a moment, then answered slowly. If it wasn't you, and it wasn't your brother, he hasn't come home yet, then perhaps, yes. I helped her clean up the mess, then went back upstairs to my game. Night fell, my brother, also a dedicated gamer, had fallen asleep on the living room sofa, a PS2 controller still in his hand. In his dream, he was lying on that very same sofa, in that very same room. But standing over him was a woman dressed in rags, staring down at him. She was hideous, pale gray skin, wild unkempt hair, glowing yellow eyes, and rotting teeth. She leaned in close until her face was inches from his and screamed directly into his face. My brother woke screaming in terror. My mother and I rushed downstairs to find him gasping for air, trembling and soaked in sweat. When my mom asked what had happened, he told her everything. That was when my mother remembered the legend my brother had brought home and the souvenir he had taken from the waterfall. She turned to him. Where is it? That stone you brought back from the mountain. My brother fetched his bag, pulled out the stone, and handed it to her. Mom took it to the garage, got a hammer, and shattered it into pieces. She placed her hands over the broken stone and prayed. When she returned, she explained it to us. Objects can carry spirits and follow you home, she said. I believe something from that place, perhaps even Maria Makiling herself, came back with you. But don't worry, I prayed over it and it is gone now. Then came her warning. From now on, never take anything home from a place with a story attached, especially not Mount Makiling. We said nothing but nodded in agreement. Since that day, I have never taken souvenirs from such a place. I never touch anything that feels wrong. No stones, no amulets, no statues. I have no desire to bring anything home that might decide to follow me. The urban legend of Maria Makiling is one I've honestly been unable to find written sources for. I heard it only from my brother, and no matter how thoroughly I search, I always come across the official myth and Dr. Jose P. Rizal's version. Never this one. I had to reach deep into my memory to recall the details as clear as I could. My hope is that this story reaches others who know this lesser-known version of Maria Makiling. If I've gotten any part wrong, I hope someone will step forward to correct me and share the true tale as they know it. Even more than that, I hope this sparks interest in this alternate legend and inspires others, especially those from Laguna and Batangas, who grew up hearing it, to share what they know and create more content about it. Yeah, hello my fellow paranormal investigators. You've reached the end of the video. You've made it all the way here and endured my rambling for this long. I sincerely thank you from the bottom of my heart. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss a thing. I'm also a traditional VTuber streamer, though I've been pretty scarce lately, buried under a mountain of JRPG backlogs. But hey, if you'd like to watch me and my friends gaslight each other in Valorant, or better yet, join in on the chaos yourself, you can also follow me over on Twitch. I usually stream once a week during the weekend. I'm also a writer. Right now, I'm hard at work remastering my long-running novel, Silverwing Academy, over on Wattpad. If you love sci-fi stories about a rich kid who ends up studying at a military academy in outer space, then this one's definitely for you. Want to catch my random thoughts and last-minute stream alerts? Come follow me over on X too. To everyone who saw my intro video on Live 2026 and decided to check out my channel, thank you from the bottom of my heart for giving this humble cabbage a chance. And to those who wouldn't attend on live or who live outside the country, don't worry, I'll be uploading the intro video tomorrow so everyone can watch it. Spoiler alert, this is not your average VTuber intro video. I really hope you enjoy it. This has been Repolio, aka the Cabbage VTuber, signing out. Oh, and one last thing. The next case we'll be covering a chilling event that took place in a certain province way back during the pandemic era. You won't want to miss it. Okay, everybody, enjoy the bloopers. Bye! If you book a tour to Laguna or Batangas, chances are Mount Makiling is already on your itinerary. It is a stunning mountain, famously shaped like a woman lying down on her back. Most travelers know the windows. Windows! My gosh, wholesome. Why did I say windows? Hello everyone, this is Repolio, the self-proclaimed paranormal investigator VTuber, and welcome to another case of Cabbage Juice. This case is going to be relatively short. It is worth remembering that under the Spanish rule, the colonizers were far from just. Our national hero, Dr. Rizal, knew this tyranny firsthand. Fearing the wrath of the Spanish regime, the villagers agreed to the plot and falsely blamed one. Unlike today, when we have security cameras, fingerprints, precious records, and forensic evidence, justice back then had rested among China. What became of the two scheming suitors? Joselito soon died of a mysterious illness, apparently struck down by the curse of Maria's wrath. As for Captain Lara, he was later killed by Filipino revolutionaries.